What's up, guys? Zenari here, and we are going to be doing the fourth session for the Bermuda Triangle Twinkle Melody reveals. So I know I should have done this way earlier, but I wanted to test some of the cards to get a more complete understanding of them and how useful or how potentially strong they might be. So, without further ado, let's get on with the card reviews. So, on November 8th, we got revealed another triple R, and this card is named Transit Charm Salady. So it's a grade 3, it has Force, and has 13k power, and has 2 abilities. So, the first ability is Act, Vanguard, once a turn, cost, Counter Boss 1, choose one of your units, search your deck or drop zone up to one card with the same name as that unit. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If you search your deck, shuffle your deck. Then Auto, Vanguard, where your rearguard attacks, reveal any number of cards with the same card name as the attack unit from your hand. If that unit gets 10,000 power, it's in the end of turn for each card revealed. So, I'm going to be honest, when I first saw this card, I was kind of disappointed a little bit, just because it didn't seem all that useful at first. But granted, that was only on November 8th, so we didn't get any other support cards for this. Now, by itself, it's a +1, which is really good by itself. I mean, it's a counterblast to get a potential card from your drop zone, or just search your deck and thin it by 1. And the second effect can make your rear guards hit high numbers. But like I said, when I first saw this, I was kind of underwhelmed about it being a triple R, and did it deserve to be a triple R? Well, on the oncoming days, we got revealed other cards that can support this deck. So, the next card I was revealed on the 9th was Centering Jewelry Festive. So it's a grade 2, 5,000 shield, and 10k power, and its rarity is a common. So, Vanguard, Auto, Vanguard, Rearguard. When the attack hits a Vanguard, search your deck or drop zone up to one certain jewelry festive, reveal it, and put it to your hand. And if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. Then, Auto, Rearguard, once a turn. When it attacks, discard 2 certain jewelry festive from your hand, stand its unit, and draw 2 cards. So, at first, knowing me, I overlooked this card a lot. But after testing it and messing with it, for the deck, it's pretty good. The fact that it's a on-hit pressure to your opponent, like if you call it early game, unlike your grade 2 turn, or you ride it, like it has the Vanguard skill. If you hit your opponent, you can thin your deck by 1. And then, if you soul blast it out, you can potentially just get it back from slating. So, it's an on-demand +1. If you, well, it divs your deck for a specific card, so it's a +1 if your opponent lets it hit. And its second skill is really good since it's sort of generic. Now, granted, I'm not sure it will be splashed out of decks, but for Slaney, you just get a free restander, sort of, while having to pay like a super heavy cost. And the fact that it refunds itself after discarding the 2, it's really, really good in that fact. So, but since it's a grade 2, it's kind of hard to search it out, especially since not a lot of the Bermuda cards in Standard have a way to instantly search it out, or dig through the deck fast enough to search it out. So, the next card that was revealed after that, on the 10th, was Consistent Select Beada. So it's a grade 3, and it has Force, its rarity is common, and it has 13k base. So it only has 1 skill. Auto, Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, if you roll a grade 4 this turn, Soul Boss 1. Perform one of the effects below. One of the effects is This unit gets power plus 50k until the end of this turn, or this unit gets 1 critical to the end of the turn. So, with this in mind, I think, well, the card itself, it's pretty reliant on you having to ride a grade 4 this turn. For Soul Blast 1 getting like a crit or 50k, I think it's pretty worth it, especially if you rode a grade 4. It has the super low cost of Soul Blast 1, and not a lot of decks are heavy on Soul except Pacifica, but you're not riding a grade 4, so. Now with this being a card, I'm pretty sure we're getting a grade 4 in this set, but it's probably, there's some potential of a card being able to force yourself to ride a grade 4 this turn, and you can use their effect to just ride back down. So like a Chrono Jet type effect, or Chrono Fang type effect, or even like Lambros, being able to just search out a specific grade 4, ride it, and then just go back to your grade 3. Now you could play this as a Highlander too, just because you ride grade 4s. You just have to make sure you have it in your hand before you ride it. I mean, before you do the play. My bad. So, on the 11th, we got another support card for Selene in Heart Fragrance Liché. So, it's a grade 1, 10k shield, 8k power, and it's a common. So, it only has one skill. Auto, Rigard Circle. When placed, if your Vanguard is Transparent Charm Slady, cost Caramelis and Soul Blast mode. Choose 2 normal units for your drop zone, and if those units have the same name, return it to your hand. This ability may only be used by a card with the same name card once a turn. My bad. So, this card solves the issue of you regaining your discarded pieces for Festive. So after you discarded 2, you can easily just counterblast Soul Blast 1 to get those 2 back. If Festive is still on your field, you can still use that restand effect and draw extra 2 cards. So this card alone is a +2 if you have Selene as your Vanguard Circle and you discard like 2 Sednas, and you can just get 20k shield back for a Counterblast and Soul Blast. It's generic as to whatever like unit that you get from the drop zone. You don't have to have like 2 specific units. It's just any 2 normal units. In this case, you can also play grade 1 Perfect Guards if you're going to have a more aggressive route and keep recurring your PGs. This card also has some premium use, as in if you have like 2 Aquas in your drop zone, you can get them both back, or any normal Perfect Guards that isn't a draw PG or Crit Sentinel yet. Well, you can't get them anyway because they're triggers. Anyway, this card is a good common for Selene, and it helps the deck become more consistent. So, on the 12th, we got a grade 3, and her name is The Aim is Perfection Renegade. So, it's a grade 3 with Force, 13k power, and the rarity is common. So, it has 2 skills. Auto, Vanguard Regard. When an attack hits a Vanguard, set your deck or drop zone up to 1 The Aim is Perfection Renegade. Reveal it and put it to your hand. And if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. Second skill is Auto Regard. Once a turn, when it attacks, cost, discard 2 The Aim is Perfection Renegade from your hand. Stand this unit and draw 2 cards. Basically, this card is the same as the grade 2 Festive. However, in this case, you have Sedna that's able to dig and specifically search this unit. So for my testing so far, you want to be able to use Sedna to be able to fetch this card in your hand. And you can discard like Ellie's for the cost. This Ellie could just be put back to the deck. And you can guard for shield, higher shield value. And yeah, I think this is a more consistent version of the grade 2, since there's one other option of you searching it out. And it hits higher numbers in a grade 2. So I recommend you, if you want to build this deck, of course you're going to need Senna, but also you want to aim for having Selena on your Vanguard circle, of course, and getting Renegade instead of the grade 2. Now the grade 2 is a good backup if you have 2 of it in hand before you start using Selene to get the last copy, so you can do the resand and draw 2. But this card is what you want to really use for your for your resanding and your drawing. So now, since that one was on Thursday, Friday we got revealed to Meer and her new marker. So let's talk about them. The marker is called Meer's Present. So this presents Meer's Present and cannot be put into the deck. This card cannot be normal card. It will be erased if superior card. Basically, this functions as a quick shield. It has the same properties of a quick shield and perfect guard, but this card doesn't do anything. It's just a marker in your hand. It doesn't have any value. The only value I can see at this moment is just for discard costs. But anyway, on to more better things. We have Sweetest Sister Meer. So she is a grade 3 with force. She's a triple R, and she has 13k base. So she has 3 skills. Auto Vanguard. At the beginning of your main phase, put a Meer's Present marker into your hand. Auto Vanguard. At the beginning of your battle phase, reveal to any number of Meer's Presents from your hand, and all your rear guards get power plus 5,000 to the end of turn for each card revealed. If you reveal 2 or more cards, cost Cardmouse 1 and heal a card from your damage zone. And the last effect is at Vanguard. Once a turn, Cardmouse 1 and Soulboss 1. Look at the top 2 cards from the top of your deck. Call up to 1 from among them to RC and put the rest at the top of your deck in any order. Okay, first off, that's a lot of text. It's like half of the card. Second, again, I was so quick to judge about this card. I thought it was pretty meh at first, until there's little things that I noticed about the card that makes it actually pretty solid. Now, first, this is the only way you could generate the Meer's Present. So you have to have her on your Vanguard circle, and it has to be at the beginning of your main phase. So this does not work with premium at all, unless you ride first to grade 3 first. Anyway, the second effect, at the beginning of your battle phase, for each marker that you have, you're going to be increasing your rear guards up by 5k. So for each lane, it's going to be 10,000 power. So if you have 2, that's 10,000. 3, that's 30,000. And it just scales as the longer the game goes on. Basically, this is the equivalent of Sonata, but it scales, which is really, really powerful. If Bermuda gets more defensive options and have a more defensive style, Meer could just keep gaining the presence and just keep gaining power, and over time it could just out pressure your opponent, overwhelm your opponent with just such large numbers each turn. I overlooked the 5,000 power to all your rear guards and mistaken it as just to the front row at first, because I don't know how to read. So it's a really, I think it's a really powerful ability for the 5k. Now, for the 2 or more to heal, it just, to me, I think it's just a bonus. Like, if you get 2 or more in your hand, you're pretty much sort of winning. I haven't tested it against meta decks, but if you get the 2 in your hand, you just start to fight back your opponent in terms of damage. So you take away that pressure that they're pushing towards you, you just start to push it back. With the more markers you get, you start to push back further. So, of course, it's pretty much like a free heal, because you counterblast one and you just heal the counterblasted card away. Or you can counterblast and heal Ellie to the drop. Set up for your Ellies. It's really good, or any other future cards that you want to use. So, and lastly, her third ability with the Act. Again, I didn't know how to read, and it says up to 1. So you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1. You can look at the top 2 and call 0. So in some of my playtesting sessions, just mingling around with the card, you can actually just leave a card that you want at the top of the deck, and you use something like Aqua, Lizelot, any card that draws, to just draw that card instead of calling it. Now, you could call it. It just depends on how you build your deck around it and what cards you want to see in your drive checks or not. If there's 2 triggers, you call 0, or you can play a mind game with your opponent. You can call 0 and just drive check the cards you want and have them to force the overguard. So it's so much stuff you can do with Meer. Her biggest downside is, well, she has 2 big downsides. As of right now, it's sort of going second. If you go second, your opponent would just push you really hard, and unless they didn't have such a strong offense on the first grade 3 ride, you're not going to have enough time to get to your second marker. So I think that's fair, because being able to just heal every turn doesn't seem very balanced to me. So if you go first, you being able to heal, it still doesn't seem fair to me, but that comes into one of her second weaknesses, is that as of right now, other than Ellie, there isn't any like defensive play or a way to create more markers, because honestly, I don't think there should be a way to create more Meer's markers. But overall, like, you can build a deck to make it sort of defensive and just try to at least get to your second grade 3 turn with Meer. You can start healing, you start pushing back your opponent. What I believe, like, the purpose of this card, you can build a deck around it, but I think it's sort of like, I don't know what to put into my deck for like some of the future decks maybe, or any I play new builds. Oh, I could put Meer. She's a single card that does sort of almost everything you want. So this is something for you to think about. So after that reveal, next week we're going to be getting Prisms on Tuesday stream, so I will be doing a reaction to that, so that should be interesting. And on Friday there'll be a reveal for Star on Stage Peon, yeah. So that all should be interesting. This is the week of the VRs, so we probably should see some support cards maybe helping them, or just random cards that are generic. It should be an interesting time, and I'm really excited for them. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please join my Discord. A lot of people are getting hyped for the new set, discussing about the new cards, and just having fun with Vanguard. So if you're interested, please join. I'm Zenarion, and I'm signing off.